Good evening, everyone. Or good morning if you're sick in the head.
Oh, yeah. You know, because people are listening to us all over the world. If you're from somewhere where it's morning, you're sick in the head.
No, they just woke up and they turned on the podcast. I don't care where they're from geographically.
Yeah. If this is the first thing you're doing in the morning, I question your sanity.
Yeah. I need some spooks.
This is not I'm not the first voice you want to listen to when you wake up. But yeah, welcome to Enter the Abyss, everybody. Cleet, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Fisher Hazification. I'll show you the
Fisher. Oh, wow. It's quite the can.
It's really fishy.
Hazification, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. I am drinking a beer called Beak Breaker. And this comes all the way from Oregon. My sister-in-law brought it for me from Oregon. So that means that it's a 9%. So Utah can't pack this much of a punch in their cans.
You fuck with me, I'll break your beaks.
Yeah. Big old pelican on it. Pelican Brewing Co. Pelicans are cool birds, man.
Imagine a drunk pelican.
Imagine a drunk bird in general. Imagine a drunk eagle.
You know, let's stick to just the pelican. Why do you gotta widen it so much? He's got, oh, look over here, look over there.
Hey, look,
my God,
candy.
man. We were just talking about a pelican. Jesus.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were open up to all of aviation. So anyway, welcome, everyone. Cleet, what's on the agenda tonight?
So tonight we're going to be going over a Reddit thread, which is, as a kid, what is the creepiest thing you've ever noticed about another kid's family? Which, I don't know, for me growing up, I don't really think I ever saw anything super weird outside of maybe like more strict parents than me. You know, like I recall like one kid's family, like they couldn't celebrate Halloween. I thought that was kind of strange.
What? That they could go against their beliefs, Halloween?
I don't know. I didn't know them well, but they didn't do Halloween. It's just, I didn't ask further questions.
You just accepted it. You're like, okay, that makes sense.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it was more different, family dynamics. I don't think I ever saw anything like creepy or anything. I busted my neighbor's forehead open with a golf club on accident. That was kind of fun.
Always seemed like a violent guy to me.
I know. We were playing with his dad's golf clubs in his backyard, and I went to swing, and he was standing right behind me, and on the backswing, I just took out his forehead, man.
Like Tiger Woods.
Tiger ain't got shit on me, man.
I do actually have a plug, and
gross
for the viewers, it's going to be on YouTube. I think it's just fantastic. There's a YouTuber called We Made It Together. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
He has a series on there. It's low budget, but it's actually fairly good for a low budget. It's titled When Your House is Haunted, But Rent is Cheap. And he has like an entire chronological story on there, and it's fucking hilarious.
Is it like a video or is it audio? Like, is it a story? What is it?
It's video and everything, and it's just like all this like horrifying things are happening in his house, but he just shrugs it off because the rent's cheap. I mean, that's like the underlying story. He doesn't just constantly say that. However, like it's pretty good. It's fucking awesome. I don't want to give you any spoilers. It's not that long. Like the entire series is like maybe 20 minutes, but you should check it out. It is fantastic.
You said it's We Made It Together?
Yeah. If you just type into YouTube, When Your House is Haunted, But Rent is Cheap, it should come up.
Okay.
It's so funny, man. It's like, it's pretty rare for me to like really enjoy something. I binge watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll check it out. All right. So let's buckle up and jump into some creepy kids' families and stuff. So we'll kick this off with the first story, which comes from Rue Bear. I once stayed at a friend's house, and they had this dirty cloth by the sink. It's what
yeah, the dirty cloth.
Yeah, the dirty cloth. Everyone had the dirty cloth. It's what I would have used at home as a face cloth, and people would usually use it to wash their faces or their hands. Turns out when they use the toilet, they wipe their butts as normal, then use this damp cloth to get the remnants so they're really clean. Oh, fuck. Bit of a flaw here. The whole family used this one cloth between them. No idea how often it was washed. Who cares? It was covered in tiny little spots of poo and had been used by everyone. It would have been filthy after one use either way. There was also the fact that they decided the best place for it was the sink. So weird. The rest of their house was clean and they seemed relatively normal.
I almost want to throw up. Kind of like could never look at chocolate ice cream again the same way.
Go in and he's like, just make sure you use the community poo cloth. Get you nice and clean. Man, I guarantee E. coli is spreading through that household like a wildfire.
I saw a quarter of a cashew on there.
Oh my God. A quarter of a cashew. A spot of corn, maybe. I wonder how often that family got pink eye. That's insane.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one is from Bigsy. I visited a neighbor's kid's house to play one afternoon and noticed that all of the family portraits had a kid blacked out with Sharpie. I asked him who colored the pictures, and he said his mother did it, but wouldn't elaborate. A few years ago, I remember the experience and asked my mother if he had a brother or sister, and she said he had been an only child since we moved out there. I thought maybe he had a sibling that died or something, but when I think about it, the picture was recent enough that my mother wouldn't have known him as an only child. Who was the kid? Why didn't his or her neighbors know him? Why did their family cross him out? It's an unsolved mystery, and I just want to kind of like look at the comments here. Let me just see if there's anything interesting here. Nope, just people trolling. Never mind.
Interesting. Who's the mystery child? Okay. This comes from Skilledex. A family that lived across the street from me had 2 daughters, 7 and 8 years old, I think. They shared a bedroom, which itself wasn't too weird, but when my family visited them, the parents gave a tour of the house. They had an extra room aside from the kids' bedroom, which was completely empty, and they wouldn't show us inside the kids' room. I was never allowed to play in their house, which didn't strike me as weird at the time because I was too young and I preferred to play outside. One time, they spent the night at my house, and in the middle of the night, I woke up to both of them opening my closet and squatting down to pee in it. Oh, God.
The litter box. Go to the litter box.
Oh, Jesus. I got...
Is that a human shit in the cat litter box?
Roll it up in the pebbles. I got my mom, and she interrogated those kids about it, but they acted like it was just a perfectly normal thing to do. They explained that they weren't allowed outside of their room at night, so if they had to go to the bathroom, they had to do it in their closet. I didn't understand it at the time, but it pissed my mom off a lot and made her really suspicious. She didn't let them stay the night at our house anymore, but she kept a close eye on them and asked the kids a lot of questions. She's like, yeah, you guys can't stay over. You're pissing in closets. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. They were kicked out of the house around 8 in the morning and told to play outside with no supervision. They weren't allowed back in until nighttime and always ate dinner outside, no matter what the weather was. Jesus Christ. They ate snacks at my house sometimes, and I think that and dinner might have been their only meals. Both of them always had a backpack with them, but they never opened it and would never tell me what was inside. I suspected that the backpacks had their clothes in them because they weren't allowed in their rooms during the day, and they made some weird comments about stuff I had in my room, like the dresser. Not sure if they were being abused like a lot of other kids in this thread, but their parents definitely wanted nothing to do with them. They ended up moving out really suddenly, and I suspected my parents called CPS or something on them. I really hope they're okay. Yeah, that's not okay.
Okay, this one is from Deleted. Not too weird considering everything that's in this thread. But when I was young, about 5, I used to play with this kid in my quiet street. One day, he asked me over to his house, which literally was 1 street away, and my mom let me go. I went over and we played, and everything was cool. But he was really harsh on his little brother, who was just a toddler. It didn't seem weird at the time, just odd. Until he asks me if I want to see something funny. I said, yeah. So he grabs his 2-year-old brother and picks up his toy gun that shoots out small rubber darts, kind of like an age-appropriate Nerf gun, and just blasts his brother straight in the eye from point-blank range. Oh my God, that's fucked, man.
You want to see something funny?
It makes me sad.
Takes out his brother's fucking eye. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
What a little shit, dude.
Psychopath is probably more appropriate.
God, dude. I think we've all taken a dart in the eye, but come on, man.
Yeah, I hit you once with a ball in the eye.
That fucking sucked, man. That hit so hard.
Moment in my life. The kid started screaming with tears, and my friend just started laughing his head off, completely in hysterics. I just remember running home. My mom was annoyed that I walked home and crossed the street alone, but I think understood I was scared. He was some weird kid. I'm so glad I never saw him again. Yeah, dude, that guy's gonna have some problems.
Do you want to see something funny?
Oof, violence.
Yeah, you make my brother cry. Okay, this comes also from Deleted. Friends had a Jesus clock. It was a creepy cuckoo-style clock with Jesus and the apostles. It rang on the hour, and his mom would gather us all up and make us write thank you notes to Jesus, thanking him for what we did the last hour. For example, thank you, Jesus, for letting us play with Legos and eat cookies for a snack. Holy shit. His mom would let them edit and critique them, saying things like, "You had milk too. Do you want to make Jesus sad because you're not thankful for the milk?" They also had a full room decked out like a chapel with burning candles, statues, and pews. Every room had massive 4-foot-tall crucifixes, too, inside of them. I hated going over there. Last I heard from them was about 5 or 6 years ago. What happened to the kids? The youngest became a Catholic priest. The second youngest moved out and is a transsexual entertainer. And the oldest, my friend, became a programmer in Silicon City. 2 of the kids are hardcore atheists, not the priest, obviously. The father eventually left the mother. Google searched and found a very, very similar clock. The only difference was theirs was in gold leaf paint, and the numbers were pictures of the disciples. Wow. I bet they're great at parties.
You better drink your milk. Jesus is going to be sad. All right, this one is from Deleted. My childhood friend Melissa was the only daughter in a family of brothers. There were 6 kids total. When we were about 10, her parents randomly decided to have more kids and conceived her younger sister. The baby unfortunately died before its first birthday, SIDS. Her parents were understandably devastated and had a hard time accepting her death. Consequently, they took out a massive loan and did some major remodeling on their tiny home to add a nursery for their dead baby. The whole thing was decorated and furnished to the hilt and was consecrated by a giant framed portrait of the baby that hung on the bedroom door. Then they shut the door. Nobody was allowed to talk about the nursery, the baby, the big-ass portrait of the baby hanging in full view of anyone who walked through their house or anything tangentially related to the above. Despite the cramped quarters and the rest of their home, 3-bedroom ranch house with 6 kids crammed in 2 of the rooms, the nursery was kept like an empty shrine. This was all the more creepy because the baby's portrait was a terrible retouched photo that was taken after its death. An artist had tried to make it look like the baby was still alive with incredibly unsettling consequences. It basically looked like super wide-awake eyes were painted over the closed eyes of the infant. They followed you wherever you walked in the house. That is so sad. Damn.
Jesus, that took a turn I wasn't expecting. Well, moving right along, this comes from Soyala. Oh boy, have I got one for you. My best friend growing up lived across the street from me, and her father is a complete psycho. He was always buying the kids new pets, rabbits, dogs, iguanas, rats, whatever they wanted, only for those pets to disappear within a few months as the family got tired of them. He was super religious and always telling his kids crazy lies about everything, like they had rich relatives who didn't exist, or that his youngest had cancer when she didn't. It's a weird thing to lie about. He was really quiet, and whenever any of his kids had friends over, he would stand silently in the doorway the entire time, which is maybe passable as socially awkward concern on its own, but less so in the other contexts. He was always making his daughter come home from sleepovers at like 3 a.m. He would just walk over, knock, and ask for her. He was always complaining that his kids' friends were bad influences or too slutty. even in grade school. One day, my dog got loose, and he drove his truck up across 3 neighbors' lawns, trying to run it over. In broad daylight, with neighbors all around. Holy shit. He's like,
10 points.
I'm going to get this fucking dog.
20 points, 20 points.
He's
I'm
like-
not a serial killer.
He's like driving through fences. I'm going to get you, little shit. God damn. Okay. But none of that compares to shitstorm that happened when Obama was elected president. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hang on. Let me just see where this is going.
This is going to be bad.
Yeah, I know.
Let's get
That
thus
gets
far.
bad. We're done with that one. Okay, we have to redo
No, just
it.
pause there. Just stop there. That's it.
On to you, Cleet. Jesus Christ.
Hey, this one is from Bishket to Lebanon.
Bishket.
I had a friend in grade school, junior high, who lived on a large working dairy farm with her brother, mom and dad, and a revolving assortment of foster kids. Guess who did all the work on the farm? These were mostly city kids who'd probably never touched a cow up to the point, getting up at 4 a.m., to milking, mucking, feeding, and God knows what else. Then they got to go to school. When they got home, it was more work until bedtime. Their bedrooms were on the 3rd floor, very plain, hot in the summer, freezing in the winter. The birth children, in the meantime, were treated like the little prince and princesses. Never lifted a finger, and you never saw cow shit on their shoes. In the meantime, the parents were the most ostentatious Christians in the neighborhood, watched some televangelist every Sunday for 2 hours, and constantly talked about Jesus and how good God had been to them. Instead of thanking God and giving him credit, they should have thanked the state for all the free labor the foster system had paid them to care for. Or maybe they should have just treated those poor kids like human beings. It's not creepy, man. That is just fucking sad.
Yeah. All right. This one comes from Captain 9653. I had a friend when I was about 8 or 10. They lived down on the local housing estate. Single mom and only child. We would chill at his place as it was only down the road. His mom would go and watch TV in the garden shed, more like a granny flat. One night I went and played after school. I would have left about 7 o'clock at night. Couldn't find his mom to say goodbye. Figured she was just in the shed. Next day, kid didn't turn up to school. Or the next day. Couple of days after that, I found the mom had taken something whilst I was there. Probably in the shed. After I left, she had some kind of drug-induced psychotic break and strangled my friend shortly after I left. Holy shit. Edit. After calling my mom and talking about it, I found some more details. I apologize as my memory has warped some bits. His name was Nathan Beale, and he was a year younger than me. We had only really become friends for about 4 or 5 months beforehand. I was also wrong in thinking it was drug-related. In fact, if she had been taking medication, it might never have happened. He had moved from the estate to Wareham shortly before the incident. We can't remember for sure if I was there the day it happened or the day before, but they had been asked to pick me up by a neighbor who had come over as they were concerned about her behavior. However, I remember we were playing games from a comic. I can't remember if it was the Beano or Dandy, but it was an annual edition. It involved things like spinning the coin for the longest time and sitting against a wall and see who could stand the fastest without using their hands. It's weird how I remember the little things, but had almost completely blocked out the actual event. Damn, dude, that's sad.
Yeah, Jesus. Dude, this is just a dark episode, apparently.
Happy holidays, folks.
Merry Christmas. All right, let's get into something happy. This one is from Trans Macabre. When I was like 12 or 13, my best friend's brother tried hanging himself in their backyard.
Wow. So, happy, huh? You start right with that. Good. Good. Fuck, Cleet.
Fucked, dude, that's fucked.
So,
While I and his sister were out in the living room, she called his friend who lived a couple houses down, who ran over and cut him down with a pocket knife. He lived. Lots of messed up stuff about the family. I didn't understand how messed up because my own childhood was so screwy. I had no context for healthy family. My friend would tell me that sometimes she and her brother would wrestle, and things got inappropriate. He was several years older than us and at least smoked weed, if not getting high on other things. Her family had way too many dogs and ferrets and sort of half-assed took care of them. In retrospect, that friendship was really dysfunctional. We were friends for several years and went to the same high school, but she wouldn't sit next to me on the school bus or hang out with me at school. She was into partying with way older kids when she was tween-aged. We stopped being friends when we were 14, I think. Anyways, in 2004, my mom was going to a fast food place, and there's my long-ago, erstwhile best friend manning the drive-thru. She recognizes my mom, asks her how I'm doing, all while holding her hand in front of her mouth. My mom catches a glimpse through my fingers, and my former best friend's teeth were all rotten. I think about her sometimes. I tried Googling her, but can't find her. I have a bad feeling about what might have happened to her. Damn. Damn. Sad.
Okay. So this next one comes from Deleted. I'm not sure if this counts, but this is the tale of the most batshit girl I ever knew. My sophomore year of high school, I knew a girl who we'll call Shirley. Shirley was a senior and had a younger brother and sister who went to our school as well. I became friends with Shirley because she was best friends with a guy that I'd had a crush on since middle school. She apparently had a crush on him too and would always act like they were in a relationship around me, which wasn't particularly difficult for me to accept since he and I had both had significant others in the time I'd on-again, off-again liked him. But apparently, he was just a really nice guy, and she was way overrating the situation. Well, that's the tamest thing about her. I was friends with her for about a month. In that time, she texted and called me twice, telling me she wanted to unalive herself and had sleeping pills to swallow. I freaked out and talked her down both times. The second time, she posted on Facebook, "This girl just saved my life," or something along those lines, and tagged me. Similarly, she once posted a picture of herself seemingly sleeping, with a caption that went something like this: "She always looked like such an angel when she slept. Bye, Shirley. We'll always love and miss you." Fucking Jesus. And I thought for a second that she'd died, but she was at school the very next day. She was also really insecure. Once I told her she was pretty, and she actually yelled at me for it. She later apologized and explained that she knew she had a good body, because that's what people used her for, but she was really self-conscious about her face. Then came the lies. Here's a list of all the lies I can remember off the top of my head. She told a lot of people that she had cancer, but she told different people she had different kinds, and when people asked her siblings, they denied it. She never went through chemo, and she's still alive and well nearly 4 years later. One day, she showed up to the school with what looked like bruises on her face. The band director took her into his office and called her parents. She went to the bathroom and came back without bruises by the time they got there. She told me she covered them with makeup, but I'm about 98% sure the bruises were made of makeup and she just washed them off. Okay, we're going to end that one there. Crazy lady. Crazy lady.
Okay. This one is from Ruby Soho. When I was in maybe second grade, I had a friend named Sarah, and her dad managed to give off just about every creepy vibe possible. He would just stand around and watch us play sometimes when I'd see her, but with very unsettling focus, which I recognized even as at that age, and other odd things like that. When I invited her to my birthday party, her dad dropped her off and wanted to stay and watch all of us girls play. So he was just going to walk around with us, even though no other parents but my mom stayed. My mom recognized his creepiness, though, and got rid of him. Nothing ever really came from it, but then one day in early fall, my family took my siblings and I to one of those corn mazes, and I somehow became separated from everyone else, and remember wandering the maze scared and looking for my mom, when I shit you not, guess who I ran into? Oh my god. It's fucked. I swear, it was like something from a movie because he was right in front of me when I rounded a corner, and I remember looking up at him, and he had this really big smile. And this guy rarely smiled. And I jumped back, but then my friend ran up from somewhere behind him and said hi and tried to act all normal. It was just then that my mama bear came barreling around the corner calling my name. I had heard her from a distance, but I couldn't find her just from her voice. and just glared at him, made very strange small talk, and grabbed my hand, and we walked back to the rest of the family. I hadn't seen him since that day, but it was definitely the creepiest encounter I've ever had with a friend's parent before. And when I mentioned it recently to my mom, she elaborated on just how creeped out he made her and how she made sure that I was never anywhere alone with him again after those incidents.
All right, this one comes from Deleted. When I was 11 years old, I had the weirdest friend that I had ever met. His mom would make us do chores when we went over. We'd spend 4 hours doing the laundry, cleaning the house, or some other stuff, and then maybe we'd get to play for about an hour. Also, his mom would constantly tell him that he was useless and and that as
useless 8-year-old, like, fuck off.
And that as he became older, he'd be more and more useless. Really weird shit. That friend kept inviting kids over every single week. Naturally, after a while, we didn't want to go because none of us wanted to take care of his house for his mom. But the kid would beg us to come over and would even start crying if we didn't give in. Looking back, I think his mom forced him to bring friends over to clean the house, and he was being punished if he didn't.
It's so fucked, man.
Another odd thing was his quote-unquote dad. He kept saying that he had a dad, but I never met him. When I was over at his place, sometimes he'd come back to his room from downstairs and tell me, "My dad got home," or something like that. He'd talk about his father like the guy was really there, coming and going. One time when I was leaving, my friend pointed to his father's shoes, which were not there when I came, and he told me, "That's my dad's shoes. It means he's home." Uh-oh.
That's so sad, man. That's not a random stranger.
The thing was,
dad's shoes.
The thing was, I saw his mother earlier in the afternoon take the shoes out from a drawer and put them there. Oh, damn. Years later, while thinking back on this, I realized that my friend had told me several times that his dad would punish him, but he never said his mom punished him. So I think she was convincing him that he had a dad who was around the house, and somehow she convinced him that any punishment he received came from him, not her. Then one day he didn't come to school anymore. A week later, the teachers explained to us that we wouldn't see him anymore because his mother killed him. What in the hell, dude?
I don't like this thread, man. Fuck. What did we pick?
And then it just gets weirder. Several weeks later, I saw him in town with another woman, about his mother's age. I saw him with that woman on 3 or 4 occasions in total, over a few months. At first, I thought it was another kid who looked like him because he was dead, but on the 3rd occasion, I went up to him and I said hi, and he coldly told me, "Go away. I'm not allowed to speak to you anymore."
Wait, so he's not dead?
No.
What the fuck?
He's not dead, man. A few other friends also saw him, and those who approached him got the exact same reaction. They also agreed that he was acting cold, as if he was angry or hated us all of a sudden. Some of my friends said he looked scary, the complete opposite of what he was like before he, quote-unquote, died. I never found out what was up with that. I don't know who that woman was with him, why he didn't want to talk to us, or even why the teachers told us that he died. Damn.
Like, why would a teacher say he died? Oh, hey, you know your friend? Well, his mom killed him.
Yeah,
that's all I want to elaborate on.
Anyway, back to physics. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't believe that one.
I don't know. Like, this story seems a little bit strange. Okay, this one is from Mashed Up Potatoato. There was a kid I was friends with back in primary school who had an overly strict mom. He told me how his mom would take his Nintendo DS before bedtime. How dare she? Oh, I'd get pissed. Anyways. And he complained about it. I suggested maybe hiding it somewhere in his bedroom before she would take it, and he said, "No, every night she checks my bedroom."
She checks for my DS. You don't understand. She's gonna find it.
You'll get it. She checks everywhere. Anyways, so in my innocent childhood logic, I thought if he hid it in his underpants,
there you go.
He could because I figured a parent wouldn't really go there.
Oh, shit.
I hate this thread. I hate this thread. I'm gonna keep going till I can't. Hopefully it's okay. Oh, how I regret suggesting that idea. Then he said, "No, she checks there too." With a very sheepish look. His parents have a reasonably good reputation with no rumors as far as I know. So I really hope that it was a misunderstanding. Maybe I misheard or it's a false memory. But if it's genuinely true about what his mother does, then I hope she gets what's coming for her. It wasn't something I realized as a child, but thinking about it, I'm now a little bit disturbed.
Don't take your Nintendo to bed.
Put it in your pants. She checks there every time.
All right. This comes from Gravy Whisperer. My best friend's family never ate actual food. Never had meals, and fucking everything they ate was junk food. Closest it got to real food was Jimmy Dean sausages, Hot Pockets. Never anything you didn't prepare in a microwave. And of course, tons of fast food. Mom's teeth had rotted out of her head years ago, and their dad was mad tubby.
I mean, maybe they just like KFC.
Mad tubby?
Yeah, dude, when I think of tubby, I think of KFC.
Oh my God.
Big bucket of fried chicken.
They had a dog that was so old, he just trudged around everywhere. Later, they went completely blind. They kept it around till its poor body finally shut down and it died. I was with my friend when it happened. His parents asked me to hang out with them so he wouldn't be home when it happened. I think he was about 18 at the time. My friend was a fucking brat asshole. I went to see the first Pirates of the Caribbean with him, his sis and his mom. We were in line at the concession stand and he wanted to go find a seat and have his mom get his snacks. She told him he could just wait in line, so he yelled and fucking threw his wadded up money at her and then stormed off. The sister had worked at a Burger King since she was 16. Not a manager now or anything, still behind the counter. It's been 12 years. She likes Disney Channel movies. We used to hang out some years ago after her brother cut me out for unknown reasons. She wouldn't eat or drink in front of anyone. We once sat talking with coffee, me drinking mine, hers going cold. I got up for something, probably more coffee, knowing me, and came back to see her cup empty. She must have slammed it back in a very short time. Poor thing was apparently really thirsty. When we were all about 20 or so, their dad bounced, met a Cuban woman on the internet and took off for Florida. What is this story, dude? Leaving notes for each member of the family. He sold insurance. In the notes, they learned that he'd not really been making any money and hadn't been paying the mortgage. They had a reasonably nice house in the suburbs with the mom's Walmart salary certainly couldn't pay for. So all three of them moved into a 2-bedroom apartment. As far as I know, they're still there. I see my former friend's posts on Facebook, always some stupid half-assed joke thinking he's so clever, or something about becoming a preacher. I see hers about how fed up she is with Burger King, or how some guy won't give her the time of the day. I don't know how to end this.
All right, these are good stories. I'm glad we picked this thread.
Shut the fuck up, dude. It started fine.
Hey, this one is from Silverfuck. I had a friend when I was much younger, probably around eight or 9. His parents were built for the 60s. They would have hit their prime, making free love under the stars and making hemp shampoo or whatever. Anyways, they were really nice people, but looking back, they always had incense burning in the house to cover the smell of dope. There were porn mags freely lying around the house, and they liked to drink a lot. Their house was always really unclean, and whenever I slept over, they gave me this terrible thin mattress, which was always swarming with ants when they brought it out of the closet. Oh, Jesus. This is really bothering me. This thread is putting me in a bad spot, man.
I feel really bad things.
Because, hang on.
Dude, I didn't know this was going to get this bad.
Because the parents were fried from so many trips, they always would deny there being any bugs on it. Even despite my friend's protests and embarrassment, I don't know if his parents did it on purpose or whether they were just too far gone from the drug use. I don't know. But the more I think about it, the weirder it makes me feel. Sorry, man.
I fucking losing my mind.
There's no ants.
Holy shit, dude. Oh, this one's going to be intense. Okay, this comes from Lydius. I wasn't a kid. I was 18 at the time, but back in senior year, I was dating this guy with the most dysfunctional family. His mom had raised him on her own, and he didn't even know who his dad was. She was a photographer with a bad meth habit and a dealer boyfriend. They had both been in jail before. She was actually relatively normal and nice while we were dating, though she went back to jail several years later along with the dealer boyfriend, after they tried to run a meth lab out of their house.
Ah, yes, the old meth lab.
Do you want to build a meth lab?
Yeah.
His little brother, 10 at the time, was severely disturbed and violent. He shit his pants regularly, too. Every time I came over, there were 2 or 3 pairs of shit-filled underwear laying on the floor next to the washing machine, which was in the kitchen, by the way, and the whole first floor just smelled like shit. I tried to use the downstairs bathroom once and was warned to be careful, because that was the little brother's bathroom, and it wasn't very clean. I think there were actually shit thumbprints on the walls. I don't know what was wrong with him, but he was absolutely psycho. One minute he'd be watching Rugrats and laughing like a normal little kid. The next minute he's windmilling towards you screaming obscenities. You never knew if he was running up to you to show you his new toy or to try to stab you. Seriously, this actually happened. One night, boyfriend and I had to barricade ourselves in the bedroom after the kid chased us around the house with a butcher knife. He was screaming and stabbing the knife right through the door like in a killer movie or something. This all happened way back in '99. I'm still friends with my ex, and he's actually doing pretty well producing music for local artists. He settled down with some hillbilly girl, and they have a daughter now. His mom is doing well, too. She got out of jail and seems to have gotten her life back together. Last I saw of her brother, though, he was covered himself head to toe in Oklahoma tattoos, earned himself a nice criminal record, and is trying to start a career as a rapper. Well, all right, folks, that is going to wrap us up for the evening. Thank you so much for joining us for some interesting stories there. As always, want to give a huge shout out to our paid supporters of the show. I'm going to give a huge shout out to. Shut the fuck up, dude. We want to give a huge.
What's the maple syrup?
Our paid supporters of the show. As always, want to give a huge shout out to our paid supporters of the show: Soylent Cleat Feet, Laura. God, dude, I can't. I need to be done. Laura, Mothman, Conklin.
You're having trouble, dude.
Dude, I am struggling.
You got problems.
So bad. Okay. I can't. I don't know why, dude. I'm struggling so bad. Soylent Cleat Feet, Lara, Mothman, Conklin Family, Lou. Your paid support of the show is tremendously helpful. And if you yourself would like to join these folks, there's a link below and a couple tiers to choose from, as well as a link that will take you to the beer donation of our show.
If you're listening to this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, as it really helps us get us out there. And as always, thank you for entering the abyss.
Until next time.